All right, on the My Country Morning Show, Big Irv, and I have a special guest in the studio with me today, and it's Paula Goodpaster. Now, some of you folks out there probably don't know who I'm talking about when I say Paula Goodpaster is my guest here today, but welcome to the morning show, Paula.
Thank you.
I'm glad to have you here. Now, the reason I have Paula in the studio today, she is actually composed, or she's actually illustrated, I guess, would be more maybe the proper term, a coloring book. Now, this is not just like a coloring book for kids. It's really for anyone, right? Right, Paula?
Yes, yes.
Before we get into the details of that, tell us where you're from originally, and we know if anybody knows you, they know you live here in Marceline. So, how many years you been in Marceline?
I've been in Marceline about, I believe, 8 years, and prior to that, I was in New York City and San Francisco, and
Oh, you've been in some small towns then, right?
yeah, small towns, and I was raised in Weston, Missouri. So,
Well, okay. I think a lot of folks know where that is, over close to the Kansas-Missouri border over
yeah.
there. So you've been in some big cities in your life. You've had the small town life too with Weston and Marceline. Those are both fairly small towns. So tell me what do you enjoy about living in the small town as opposed to the big city?
Well, I believe that there's pros and cons, both. I've got to see both. So there's a lot of diversity in the big cities, but
Sure.
here there's a lot of, good people, and there's good people everywhere. I
Sure.
get into the church community and in New York City, and so really, honestly, I see no difference, if that's possible. I really have seen not a whole lot of difference other than a lot of color and
Right.
in bigger city.
Sure, but I guess when you're in the big city, you have so many more choices as far as restaurants and
That's
places
true.
like that
That's
that you may
true.
not have in a small town.
Yeah.
But there's always good people everywhere, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Um, let's talk a little bit about this book. I actually have it in the studio here with me right now. Tell us a little bit about this coloring book. What was your inspiration to do this? I mean, obviously, this is not the first time you've illustrated things. You're an artist at
I
heart,
am.
right?
Yes, and it's been my lifelong dream to illustrate a children's picture book, full colored picture
Right.
book for kids. And I was working on that, and I got tired. I just recently turned 50, and I became aware of the fact that if I'm not going to do this now, at what point am I going to be good enough to do this? So I thought, alarm bells went off in my head, and I thought, well, it's time to do something.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of waiting for the big publishing companies to give me permission to do what I have worked so hard and sacrificed my whole life to do. So I started in my other room, in the cold room, working on, in that big house, working on a children's picture book. And I was overwhelmed. And I thought, I wrote the story, I was illustrating, so I thought I need to simplify this for my first time.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to bring it down to no color and no words, really, and just really simplify that first one. And then I got looking at all of the coloring books on the market, and I thought, why don't I do my first book as a just black and white, a book just to see something in print, to break the ice, and to start a ball rolling. So I did. And the feeling of accomplishment is quite grand, even though I see errors all over the place, which is another thing. If you wait to be perfect, nothing will ever happen.
Oh, yeah,
So,
that's true. Yeah.
I try to encourage people to go ahead and do their very, very best, but do something. It took me a very long time. My whole family, I think, lost hope in me a long time ago. It's like, all right, quit talking about it, just do it.
So you did. You just did it. And the finished product's right here. It's called Oddball Stew by Paula Goodpaster. And yes, she's our guest in the studio right now. And it says on the front here, a coloring book for all ages. And some folks may not have that experience of color. Even those folks that aren't really artistic can get a color in a coloring book. There's lines here. If you can stay between the lines, you'll be okay, right? That's really all there is to it.
That's right. So, and it's available on Amazon.com.
Okay.
Yes, and the next one I'm working on now quite confidently is my first children's full-color picture book, which will be published by Ingram Sparks.
Okay.
So.
And that'll probably be available at whenever that's finished
this
up.
year. Yeah.
It'll be available on Amazon as well.
Yes, Amazon and bookstores. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if they go into a bookstore, go to Amazon and search your name on there, I'm sure they can find the product out there and purchase it,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So not hard to do, and you'll be picking up a copy of this. Someone right here in Marceline has printed this, has composed this book, printed it, and did you have any particular inspirations? I've looked through here. And there's some crazy images and things like that, which is cool. I mean, it's unique to me, and this is really for anyone. Like we said, you don't have to be a kid to do this. There's really some neat stuff in here, and you can use your own imagination as far as how you like to color things. I mean, you can make it anything you want under the rainbow, really, right?
Yes.
So just tell us maybe a little bit about, did you have a particular inspiration for this in a way?
Well, in a way, I just started, every year I do my daughter a Halloween costume, and I try to go all out for that. And it's exciting because mostly I like to stand back and watch people's reaction to, I did this in New York, and I did it all over the place. And I like to see people smile and to be a little surprised about what's coming down the road. And I like to do it for my daughter, and we get involved and together, and it's a kind of a dual endeavor.
Right.
And so she has fun, and I have fun, and we laugh sometimes at some of the things that we put together, and she came up with some of the characters. And so I thought how costume or what, the characters sometimes just came out of nowhere, and a lot of things went in the trash can. So a lot of them didn't make the cut.
Well, with your imagination, which I'm sure sometimes you'll start with a drawing of some kind, and you get halfway through it, and you're going, well, no, that. Let me start again. Maybe use part of that, but come back with something different. I'm sure that happens a lot.
It's like a chain reaction, like life. You start one little thing, and it leads to the next thing.
And I see that inside the book here, you have your daughter. You mentioned her in here.
Oh, yes.
Matter of fact, right
yes.
on the beginning.
Raven is my inspiration for everything I do.
So that and she, like you said, some of the images, some of the things you've done in here, some of the drawings that you've done were inspired by her, and she probably helped you out with a lot of that, right?
She definitely did, yeah.
So again, the name of the book, the coloring book, is Oddball Stew, and there's some kind of, if you want to say, is it okay if I say some of them are strange?
Absolutely, because
in a good way.
are.
In a good way.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's for all ages. Can be anybody from just a little kid all the way up to, well, like me, an old guy, could get in here and color these pictures if you'd like to. And how many pages in here?
Well, they say they're 50, but there's the blank side, so there's 24 illustrations.
There's several illustrations in here that you can have fun with. And what did I see here? Well, I thought this was cool. The hot pancakes on wheels.
I think I was having a pancake craving that night.
Were you?
Yes.
That's how you came up with that one.
I think I did. And there's a lot of food references in there, too.
Well, yeah.
Nearly every page.
That's near and dear to me, obviously, you can tell. But so it's available at Amazon. They can get it from Amazon now. Would it be available locally right now, or is it just easier for a person if they want to get a hold of this just to go to Amazon and pick it up there?
I think right now it's easier to go to Amazon.com, although there will be copies available. I'm going to be in the art show downtown at the end of February.
Okay.
There'll be some in the gallery downtown.
At the Nomo Art Gallery?
Yes.
Okay. By the way, speaking of that, do you do other things? I mean, not just coloring books. That's not what you're all about, is it? You do some other paintings and things like that. Do you have some on display down here at the art gallery?
Well, I'm going to at the end of, but it'll be all about this. It'll be, all about this, but there'll still be their props and paintings from this down at the gallery. It's going to be a teacher's art show down there at the end of February, so come to that, because that'll be fun. I plan to try to make that as fun as possible, at least my little section of it.
And will you be down there while that's going on?
I will be there at the opening. Yes,
and they can come by and maybe check this out. And if they have questions about it, want to talk to you about some of the inspirations you had for this, or just talk about the book, you'd be glad to talk to them. I'm sure it'd be kind of fun. Paula Goodpaster is our guest. She lives right here in Marceline, and she has a book called Oddball Stew. It's a coloring book for all ages, and so you've got another one you're working on. Sometime this year that'll be ready to go. Do you know the exact date yet when that's going to be?
I know it'll be within 2018, and it's going to be full color, and it'll be with a different publishing company. Although I love this company too, but it'll be with a different one, and so I can go to bookstores and things like that. So, but it'll be a less than 1,000 words and full color. So.
Okay. Well, we maybe you can come back when that one comes out. You can come back. You can tell us about it, and we'll hopefully get some folks out there to check it out too. We want everybody to check this out and go out to Amazon and find Oddball Stew by Paula Goodpaster out there, and maybe pick this up. Maybe pick up a copy for everybody in your family. There you go. How would you like to have that happen?
Yes.
That'd be great. Yeah, let's do that. Well, anything else you want to add here before we let you go? We just wanted to get you in here and talk about this a little bit. It's not every day I get somebody in here that has written or composed a book or had something that's been published right here. It's from Marceline, so it's kind of cool to have you in here. So anything else you want to talk about here today?
No, it's not every day I'm on the radio, and this has been quite an experience for me and very fun. And
well, we're glad to have you here. Thanks for coming in, Paula. Maybe we can get you back again in the future, okay?
Thank you very much.
There's Paula Goodpaster. She's from right here in Marceline, and again, the name of the book's Oddball Stew, a coloring book for all ages. Check it out. Paula Goodpaster has been our guest right here on the My Country Morning Show.